Hey guys, welcome back to the St. George Coptic Orthodox Church of Philadelphia's YouTube channel. My name's Anne Queen, and I'm so excited to have you back here. As you've seen, we've been doing some YouTube videos, and we're going to do another verse together today. So we're going to go over the verse, a little bit about its history and what it means, and then we're going to memorize the verse together. So today's verse is Galatians 2:20. It's, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 2:20. So this is a super important verse and really exemplifies Paul's message throughout his time and kind of what he was trying to teach people. So that for context, the book of Galatians was written by Paul, and it was written to the Galatians, who were a people who lived in Asia Minor or Anatolia. In modern day, this is Turkey. So if you guys want to go look up on a map where that is, you can kind of understand the area that he is and kind of where he moved in that country. And he was talking to different people there, and this was his testimony to them. So Paul, in chapter 2, was talking about kind of what Peter had taught and what the different disciples had been doing, and made a really important point before this verse to say, hey, you keep making fun of or saying that like all of the people who are Gentiles should be Jews before they kind of transition and do all the traditional things to become a Christian. But he's saying, hey, you're treating this group differently than this group because you think that this group isn't living the right way. When in reality, some people who were in this group were just saying they were living a certain way, but they weren't. So that part of the chapter, what Paul is trying to show is even though you might say something, you also have to live it. And this really applies to us as Christians. Okay, guys? So something we talk about in our Sunday school classes isn't just saying that we're a Christian, but rather saying and living the way of Christ. So there are a lot of people who say that they're Christians and who say that they do certain things, but they don't actually live in Christ and live the way that Christ wanted us to and why he was crucified for us. So in this verse, Paul's argument is that we become so closely attached to God that we die with him, and then he begins to live inside us. So Paul has been emphasizing the faith and faith alone, not just the random things we do to check boxes off saying, yes, I did this, but rather to say what saves us isn't just rituals, but rather living with Christ. And Christ was crucified for our sin, and by the faith, we have to trust that his death paid for our personal sin. And so we're crucified with him. Overall, this is something that I don't know that we all thought about. So I want you guys to take some time and look at this verse after this video to think about how we're crucified with Christ to be good Christians. So let's memorize this verse together. It's a little bit of a longer verse, so bear with me and repeat after me. All right? So this is Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 2:20. Okay, let's read it all together. Ready? I have been crucified with Christ and no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 2:20. Awesome. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page and follow along with all the videos and content we're trying to bring you guys. Also, if you want to go to our Facebook page, you can also see the schedule for our live classes, for hymns, Coptic lessons, and Sunday school. Thanks again. Stay safe and keep praying.